Before you scroll away, stop right here because what happened to Tan Songyun on set today has left fans across the world completely shaken emotionally. And if you stay until the very end, you're going to witness how one terrifying moment during filming suddenly turned into an emotional hospital emergency that exposed a side of Soo Kai nobody was prepared to see publicly. So subscribe right now and stay with every second because this story unfolds in a way so emotional and heartbreaking that fans inside and outside the entertainment industry are still trying to process what truly happened behind the cameras. The morning began normally. Too normally. That was what made everything that followed feel even more terrifying afterward. The production set buzzed with its usual energy. Crew members adjusting lights. Stylists moving quickly between dressing rooms. Assistants carrying scripts and bottled water across crowded filming corridors while cameras prepared for another long, emotional shooting day. Tan Songyun reportedly arrived earlier than most people that morning. According to insiders, she looked calm, but unusually quiet. Not unhappy. Not angry. Just emotionally drained in a way people close to her quietly noticed almost immediately. One makeup artist later admitted Tan Songyun barely touched breakfast before filming started, even though the schedule ahead looked physically exhausting already. Another insider claimed she spent several minutes sitting silently alone near one of the studio windows before shooting began while staring outside at the rain falling softly across the city skyline. At first, nobody thought much about it. Actors often become emotionally distant before intense scenes, especially during emotionally demanding projects requiring long filming hours and constant pressure. But according to people nearby, something about Tan Songyun's energy that morning felt different. Fragile somehow. As though she carried emotional exhaustion heavier than usual behind her calm smile. Still, filming moved forward normally during the first half of the day. Several emotionally intense scenes reportedly required repeated takes beneath powerful studio lights that quickly raised temperatures across the entire set. According to crew members, Tan Songyun continued performing professionally despite visible fatigue building slowly throughout the afternoon. At one point, insiders claimed Soo Kai quietly approached staff members, asking whether Tan Songyun had eaten properly earlier because he reportedly noticed her hands trembling slightly between takes. That small detail later emotionally devastated fans, once leaked online afterward. Because according to insiders, Soo Kai already sensed something was wrong long before the emergency happened publicly. Yet nobody imagined how serious the situation was about to become. The terrifying moment reportedly happened during filming for one of the project's most emotionally intense scenes. Sources claimed Tan Songyun needed to deliver a powerful emotional monologue while standing beneath heavy lighting equipment inside an enclosed set environment already growing increasingly hot and exhausting physically. Witnesses later described her performance as heartbreakingly beautiful, raw, emotionally overwhelming. So convincing that several crew members reportedly became emotional watching her deliver the scene in real time. But near the final moments, something suddenly changed. According to insiders, Tan Songyun reportedly paused unexpectedly mid-scene, her expression shifting strangely while cameras continued rolling. At first, people assumed she forgot part of the dialogue. Then witnesses noticed her breathing becoming uneven. One assistant director later admitted the entire room instantly grew silent because everyone suddenly realized something felt terribly wrong. Tan Songyun reportedly attempted to continue speaking before suddenly losing balance completely. The atmosphere on set reportedly transformed from controlled production chaos into pure panic within seconds. Crew members rushing forward immediately. Stylists screaming for medical assistance. Equipment operators abandoning cameras mid-recording while everyone tried desperately to understand what happened. According to witnesses, Soo Kai reacted faster than almost anyone else inside the room. The moment Tan Songyun collapsed, he reportedly ran across the set immediately, without hesitation. People later described the expression on his face as emotionally unforgettable. Pure fear. Not celebrity panic. Not performative concern for cameras. Real fear. The kind that strips away public image completely and exposes what someone truly feels underneath everything else. According to insiders, Soo Kai reportedly knelt beside Tan Songyun immediately, while calling her name repeatedly, trying desperately to keep her responsive. Witnesses later admitted the entire atmosphere inside the studio became emotionally overwhelming because nobody expected Soo Kai to react with such visible emotional intensity publicly. At one point, insiders claimed his hands were visibly shaking while medical staff rushed onto the set to assist Tan Songyun quickly. People nearby reportedly heard him asking repeatedly whether she could hear him, while production staff scrambled around them in complete chaos. The filming set reportedly shut down entirely within minutes afterward. No more cameras. No more production schedules. Nothing mattered anymore except getting Tan Songyun medical attention as quickly as possible. According to sources, she was transported urgently to a nearby hospital while heavy rain continued pouring across the city outside. But what truly shocked fans emotionally happened next. Because according to insiders, Soo Kai reportedly refused to remain behind on set despite management teams urging him to avoid public attention surrounding the emergency. Instead, witnesses claimed he followed directly behind the medical vehicle himself without changing clothes or even speaking properly to anyone around him first. That revelation exploded online instantly once leaked publicly. Fans emotionally devastated watching blurry photos surface, showing Soo Kai arriving at the hospital still wearing partially torn wardrobe styling from the unfinished filming scene earlier that day. People immediately noticed something else too. His expression. Emotionally shattered. Completely stripped of the calm, polished image celebrities usually maintain publicly during crises. According to insiders, Soo Kai reportedly stayed inside the hospital waiting area for hours afterward, refusing to leave despite repeated requests from management teams concerned about growing media attention outside the building. Witnesses later described him pacing constantly beneath the dim hospital hallway lights while checking repeatedly for updates about Tan Songyun's condition. At one point, insiders claimed he sat alone quietly with his head lowered into his hands for nearly 20 minutes while doctors continued examining her privately. That image alone emotionally destroyed fans online once descriptions spread afterward. Because suddenly the relationship between them no longer looked like ordinary celebrity friendship publicly anymore. The emotional panic on Soo Kai's face reportedly revealed something far deeper than people expected. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, the situation quickly spiraled into media frenzy. Fans gathering in growing crowds beneath umbrellas despite heavy rain continuing throughout the evening. Entertainment reporters arriving rapidly searching for confirmation about Tan Songyun's condition, while security teams struggled controlling the emotional atmosphere outside the building. Social media exploded completely. Hashtags spreading globally within hours. Fans desperately searching for updates, while emotional messages flooded every platform connected to Tan Songyun and Soo Kai online. Some people prayed openly for her recovery. Others replayed old interviews and behind-the-scenes moments between them, trying to understand the emotional connection now suddenly visible publicly through Soo Kai's reaction. Then came the moment that emotionally shattered everyone completely. According to insiders, doctors eventually allowed Soo Kai brief access to see Tan Songyun privately once her condition stabilized later that evening. Witnesses later claimed Soo Kai entered her hospital room looking emotionally exhausted beyond words after hours of visible panic and fear. Nobody knows exactly what happened inside that room privately afterward. But according to one insider standing nearby outside the hallway, Soo Kai reportedly stayed beside her quietly far longer than expected, even after medical staff reassured everyone her condition was no longer dangerous. At one point, witnesses allegedly overheard him softly apologizing repeatedly while holding her hand privately. That detail spread online like emotional wildfire afterward, because fans immediately began asking the same heartbreaking question everywhere. Why was Soo Kai apologizing? According to insiders, he reportedly blamed himself privately for not noticing sooner how emotionally and physically exhausted Tan Songyun had become during recent filming weeks. One source later admitted Soo Kai quietly confessed to someone close to him that he should have pushed harder to stop filming earlier once he noticed how drained she already looked throughout the day. That guilt reportedly devastated him emotionally afterward. Hours later, Tan Songyun's management team finally released a brief statement confirming she experienced extreme exhaustion and stress-related symptoms, but remained stable under medical observation. The statement should have calmed public fears immediately. Yet somehow it only intensified emotional reactions online further. Because people realized just how dangerous the entertainment industry pressure surrounding actors can quietly become behind glamorous public appearances. Meanwhile, according to insiders, Soo Kai reportedly refused multiple interview requests outside the hospital entirely.
No statements.
No public performance for cameras. Nothing. One reporter later claimed Soo Kai only gave one brief response while leaving the hospital temporarily late that night. He reportedly said softly that some people work so hard making others happy they forget to protect themselves emotionally and physically too. That sentence emotionally destroyed fans everywhere once clips spread online afterward. Because beneath his words existed heartbreak, fear, and perhaps feelings far deeper than either Soo Kai or Tan Songyun ever intended the public to fully witness emotionally. The next morning, photos surfaced showing Soo Kai returning quietly to the hospital carrying bags reportedly filled with food, medicine, and personal comfort items for Tan Songyun privately. Fans immediately noticed something else too. He still looked emotionally exhausted himself, as though he had barely slept at all since the emergency happened. One nurse later anonymously admitted Soo Kai reportedly remained unusually attentive throughout the night, checking repeatedly whether Tan Songyun needed anything while trying carefully not to disturb her rest emotionally. That revelation transformed public perception completely, because suddenly this no longer looked like ordinary co-star concern publicly. It looked deeply personal,
Real.
emotionally overwhelming in ways neither of them could fully hide anymore, even if they wanted to. And perhaps that became the most unforgettable part of the entire incident. Not simply the hospital emergency itself, but the way one terrifying moment stripped away celebrity masks completely and exposed raw human emotion underneath everything else.
Fear. Care. Regret.
Love, perhaps. The kinds of emotions impossible to fake when someone you truly care about suddenly collapses in front of your eyes while the entire world watches helplessly around you. And now the only question that remains is this. When crisis suddenly reveals emotions people spent years hiding carefully behind cameras and polished celebrity smiles, does the truth finally become impossible to deny publicly? Or do some feelings only become visible once fear strips away every remaining wall protecting the heart completely? If this story touched your heart and you want more emotional drama stories like this, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who understands that sometimes the deepest emotions reveal themselves not during perfect romantic moments, but during terrifying nights when losing someone suddenly feels far too real to ignore anymore.